All right, so the next one is Modern Family, which, oh man, all right, we're not, I want a prize, damn it.
I think we'll be more taking on the dramas.
You talk about your A minus.
Okay, well, with Modern Family, it's kind of gotten to the weird place where I almost take it for granted at this point, which is what it was kind of what I was sitting thinking about with this grade. I'm like, what do I give this show? And it's one of the things that I actually experienced this year with the show that I don't think I've ever had happen before. Is I actually cried over a couple episodes. Like, I was relating to these characters so much that I was like actually crying. I'm like, what's wrong with me? Too long to go into that, but it was just one of those things where it's like I felt connected to them this year on a level that I hadn't before.
Okay.
But it's also, I know a lot of people, it's not necessarily cool to like the same shows for extended periods of time in some sections of our job.
But I don't
care.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't worry about that.
I'm not cool.
I don't care about that.
It's fine. You know what? I find Modern Family to be absolutely charming. It's, again, like with Parks and Rec, I pretty much laugh at every single episode. It's something that I find charming. It's something I find relatable at times. No matter what aspect of the storyline, no matter how real it's, like, there's something in it that I feel like I can connect to on some kind of basic level. And I like it more that when it's not necessarily going all out there. Like, I don't feel like we necessarily need the huge guest stars, though I feel like they integrate the guest stars really well. I don't feel like we need the big vacations, but even when they do that, it's well done. So I've actually been enjoying Gloria's pregnancy. It's been intriguing to watch, and I don't know. I've really liked what they've done this season. I just find like it's one of those shows that it's kind of, like I said, it's easy to take advantage of. You kind of take for granted that it will be good. For at least for me, it's just kind of dependably there. It's kind of hard to praise it in new ways every year. It's just dependably funny.
Right. And I mean, I think that's partially why I gave it a B, was because I feel like it is kind of the same as it always has been, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but one of the things that I look for is growth.
Yeah.
And okay, there's change. Yeah, Gloria is pregnant. Haley went off to college and then got kicked out. Like, there's change, but there's not necessarily growth. And I will say that one of the things that this season, I don't find it as funny as previous seasons. So I think for me, like, to sit down and to go, okay, well, if you want to be a traditional sitcom and you want to make me laugh, if you want to make me cry, also great. But I don't get that emotional with this show the way that I do with like a Parks and Recreation or some others, and so that went into it in a big way, was whether or not I'm laughing or whether or not I'm crying. I have a tendency to watch the episodes, and I enjoy them when I'm watching them. But if you asked me 2 days later what it was about, I don't remember, because it's just kind of there, and it's just kind of like, there are moments that stick out, but overall, I couldn't tell you what episode they're from, and to me, that's kind of a problem, and it's just not holding my interest the way that it used to, or the way that other shows do. And I will say that I don't know if this is jumping on a bandwagon or not, because everyone seems to be saying it, but I really don't like the Mitch and Cameron couple anymore. Like, I like obviously that the show is showing a gay couple making it work, having a family, but those two characters have become such shrill opposites of each other that I don't know why they're together. It's like the Rizzoli and Isles, why are they friends? Because she's so harsh. Like, I feel that way with Cameron and Mitchell a lot, because he's a very specific personality, and he always has been. And so is Claire. And over time, it's come out more and more as we've gotten to know the characters, because you're comfortable with them, and it's kind of that, like, they can let their hair down thing. But for some reason with Phil and Claire, I feel like he balances her. Right. And we genuinely see her have moments where she lightens up around him, or he calms her down. Whereas I don't get that with Mitch and Cam. I just get a lot of, like, odd couple Lucy and Desi type fighting, and then the obligatory, like, hug at the end, but I don't feel that it's necessarily as genuine. And I would be okay if they broke up. Like, I think that's a story point. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes people just aren't right for each other, and over time they realize that. People get divorced, people break up. Like, maybe if that's the way you're going to write these characters, maybe you should be writing them to that. Or if you don't want them to break up, you need to give me a reason to want to watch them, because right now I feel like I'm watching my parents bicker, and, like, that's not a good thing. So, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to start to see shades of like, oh God, these people are bad for each other in a comedy, especially. You know what I mean? It's not a dark show. It's not like people were calling Beauty and the Beast an abusive relationship because he's violent. Like, it's not that kind of show. You know, I don't agree with that, but whatever. I'm just saying, like, it's not. You're not supposed to feel like, oh my God, they make each other feel terribly. Why are they together? So, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just a dialing down of, like, the eye rolling and stuff. I don't know what it is. It's been bugging me lately. And yes, I like Gloria's pregnancy too. And I don't know that I want to see a baby on the show. I'm a little worried about I'm a little worried about and if we want to talk about holiday episodes, they didn't give us one this year.
I was waiting for her to yell about that.
I already yelled about it on Twitter.
I saw.
Yeah, and Ryan,
I saw the response.
Ryan was very sweet, and she was like, oh, you know, get excited, there's a New Year's episode. And I was like, that's great. New Year's episodes are great, but I wanted a Christmas episode. And
but
also, I will say I wanted a Christmas episode because their previous ones were so great that I thought that, like, if anything, that's something they do really well. And in a season where I've been struggling to want to watch it every week, then they didn't do the thing I think they do really well. So it bummed me out a little harder.
It's one of those things where it's like, I feel like you should only do it if you have a really good idea. And if they didn't have a really good idea.
They didn't have a really good idea, but that worries me because I feel like they don't have a lot of really good ideas in general right now. I'm just not that interested.
No, but it's interesting about Cam Mitchell. I've seen a lot of those complaints too, because I think anyone on Twitter can see a lot of any complaints about any show at any given time. If you follow enough people.
Yeah, but a lot of the complaints have also come because they feel like they're stereotypical types, and I don't necessarily have that issue. I just think that they're so different from each other right now, and there's nothing that's. It's not like we see them in these like loving moments. We see them where Mitchell is rolling his eyes because Cameron's stuck in a tree, for example. You know.
Yeah.
Like
but it's like I was thinking actually I was rewatching an episode. It kind of skimmed through it when I was on Wednesday. They had the episode where. Cam went back to work, and Mitchell to take care of Lily.
See, I don't even remember that, and I know I watched every episode.
And it's that there was a loving moment at the end where he had to call in Claire for help to help deal with Lily and the food, and they hugged. He's like, well, I'm not going to give him a hard time because
you can always hug, but did it feel real?
It did. So
okay.
he's like, if you had to call her, you had to deal with so much more than I had to deal with.
Okay.
So it's like there are little moments like that kind of make it feel less painful. But I can understand, bickering. You got to have different dynamics with the couples.
Yeah, but I agree. Yeah. You have to have different dynamics. But all I'm saying is that I feel like right now the show is setting them up for you to want them to break up. I don't really want them to break up, but then you need to give me a reason to not want that. So,
fair.
We'll see where they go.
We'll see where they go.